Hello, welcome. My name is Mohamed Hassan Taha. I am the director of the Medical Education Center at the University of Sharjah. This video is the eighth video in the series about studying and learning skills for undergraduate medical education, and this video will be about academic writing for health science students. So let's go. The learning outcome for this session is to define academic writing in medical context, apply the principles for academic writing, how to structure your essay effectively, discussion related to paraphrasing and summarizing ethically and recognizing and avoiding plagiarism. And also we'll discuss issues related to AI misuse. So why this important? Why this session is important for you, and why academic writing is important for you? Because academic writing helps us to transform ideas to professional communication. It helps us to build credibility in research and practice, and it helps us to strengthen analytical and critical thinking, and it reflects the professionalism and ethics. And definitely, writing in hospitals in record, it affects the patient safety through the accuracy of the information. So all this together is very important. It will draw our attention about the importance of academic writing. So what is academic writing and what is it? So it is not copy-paste what is available in the literature. It's not emotional or opinion-based. It's not personal. We rarely use I think, I feel, unless we are writing reflection. It is analytical, evidence-based, and structured format of writing, focusing on problem solving and contribution to the professional discussion in the literature. And this will give specific shape to academic writing in medical education. So it is formal, tone, and vocabulary. It is objective, that means free of emotion or bias. It is logical and coherent in the structure. Logical for each paragraph, within the paragraph, and the rest of the paragraphs in the article, in the text, in the chapter. It should be supported by credible evidence. We should have in-text citation for each information and each idea. And it should be concise and we use precise language. Yeah. So for the academic writing, it's very important to read critically, to think analytically, to plan logically, then we'll write clearly. And don't expect to write clearly from the first time. We have to do the editing thoroughly during the writing process. And we have to be very concise, for example, not like the other style of writing. So instead of mentioning in order to, I should directly say to. We have to bear in mind that there should be one idea per sentence. And we have to bear in mind that we should use strong verb instead of wordy phrases. For example, if I want to say, to write, instead of writing, in order to be able to successfully pass the OSCE, student must make adequate preparation. We can replace it with, student must prepare well to pass OSCE. The second sentence is the typical style of academic writing. So this is another example. The expected prevalence of mental retardation based on the assumptions of normal distribution of intelligence in the population is stated to be theoretically about 2.5. This is the Lindsay style of writing, so we have to cut. And we have to say directly the expected prevalence of mental retardation if the intelligence is normally distributed is 2.5. Yeah. And we have to be concise. Always use the equivalent term in the right side of the screen and avoid the left side of the screen. So instead of all three of the three, instead of give rise cause, instead of it is a position in a position to can, instead of closely approximately to near, in order to, and there. So you have to use a very strong verb. instead of maybe made an improvement, say improved. Instead of gave a description, describe. Instead of perform an analysis of, analyzed, and so on. So it's very important. So like the study gave a description of patient outcomes, we can write it, the study describe the patient outcome. So using strong verb is the key. Similarly, we have to use positive language. Example, not instead of using uncommon, you should use common. Instead of not ineffective, effective. Instead of not unlikely to help, likely to help. So, an example, it is not rare for the student to feel anxiety before the exam. You can replace it with positive language directly. Many students experience anxiety before the exam. This is very important. Another rule that we have to avoid this. This example of we are talking now about parallel structure and unparalleled structure. The unparalleled structure of a sentence, like the teacher said that he was a poor student because he waited until the last minute to study for exam, completed his lab in a careless manner, and his motivation was low. So we can use it in this way. The teacher said that he was a poor student because he waited until the last minute to study for exam, completed his lab problems in a careless manner, and lacked motivation. So this style of parallel style of writing. You have to use familiar term and keep it simple, and avoid using overcomplicated words. Use short sentence to improve understanding. Instead of writing utilizing a diagnostic imaging modality was implemented, we can directly write diagnostic imaging was used. Very important rule is to consider cohesion and coherence in academic writing. What do you mean by them? Cohesion, it is related to how sentence connected within the paragraph, and coherence, the logical flow of the ideas across the text. And in order to consider this, we have to use the transition effectively, such as in addition, if I want to add ideas, I can write moreover, furthermore. If I want to write contrast, I can write however, conversely. If I want to write about cause and effect, I can write therefore, consequently. If I want to explain example, I can write for instance, for example, and so on. So this is very important thing to consider cohesion and coherence. And the next slide actually describe the linking paragraph. For example, for each paragraph, I should think about the topic sentence, the supporting sentence, and the concluding sentence. And in the topic sentence, I state the main idea. And in the supporting sentence, I can explain more with definitions, with evidence, with comments, and in concluding sentence, I should close this paragraph. This is a typical structure for each paragraph while talking at paragraph level. But if I'm talking at maybe a section level, this should be clear in each paragraph, and this is structured typically for your thesis. It's very important to consider transition between the idea to the other. I highly encourage you to read this Manchester Phrase Bank book. You can find it online, and you can scan this QR code. Stop the video and scan this QR code so that you can download this phrase Manchester Phrase Bank book. It's very important learning resource in which you can learn about how to build coherence and cohesion in your writing, and it will give you many examples for the different occasions. It's very important also to think about paraphrasing and summarizing to avoid plagiarism. And paraphrasing, when you explain an author, express an author idea using your own word and structure, while summarizing is shortening the main idea. So both require citation in text citation. So summary is the brief statement, and paraphrasing, it is a parallel phrasing following all idea, and paraphrasing is not about changing the sentence. structure while using the same author. This is plagiarism. Paraphrasing, reading, understanding using your own word. And it is entirely writing using your own words. And very important not to forget to give credit to the others. Very important fact, we are citing the idea, not the paragraph. So the in-text citation should be at the end of the idea, at the end of each sentence, not at the end of the paragraph. This is very important. I'd like to repeat this again. The in-text citation should be at the end of the idea, not at the end of the entire paragraph. Please take a screenshot for this video, for this slide. And you can stop the video and try to do paraphrasing for this slide or this text. The next slide will show you example of good paraphrasing and poor paraphrasing. The first one is good. The first one is inappropriate, sorry, and the second one is appropriate. Whenever we are doing paraphrasing, we have to also to consider summarizing, because while writing assignments, there is a certain amount of word counts. You should not exceed it. While writing an article, there is a certain amount of word counts, should not exceed it, like 3,500 or 4,000. In many occasions, 5,000 if you are writing review and so on. So this is very important. Let's see the structure of essay. There is a three-part, including the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. In the introduction, you write about the context and purpose. In the body, you have to make each paragraph as one argument, and you have to consider, again, cohesion and coherence, and to think about the sequence. For the conclusion, you have to restate the summary for the key insight. And again, this is a topic sentence, introduce the idea, supporting sentence for evidence and example, and concluding sentence, very important to close the idea and to move to the other paragraph. It's very important here to talk about academic honesty and integrity in academic writing. So honesty is the central in both medical education and writing. And integrity builds professional trust, and it's very important to cite every source of idea, word, data, figure, image, everything that you have to cite it. And citation for idea, not for the paragraph. Very important. Why? Because ethical writing it is related to ethical practice. And we have to avoid plagiarism. And I think we have explained it before. It's typically like this picture. Plagiarism is act of presenting someone else's word, ideas, data, or creative work as your own without proper or credit, giving credit to the other. And there are many, many examples of plagiarism. The first one is a direct plagiarism. And actually, direct plagiarism is the most serious one. It's direct copy text, and then like maybe copying paragraph from a journal and so on. The second part is a mosaic plagiarism. And this part of plagiarism happens when students think changing the word is enough, like replacing words with synonyms by keeping the same structure. An example of like rewriting by changing only few words or using maybe some of the tools that can do paraphrasing, rephrasing. The other part is paraphrasing one, result from plagiarism, result from forgetting to cite after writing. So it is restating someone's idea in your own words without providing credit. Maybe rephrasing a WHO statement without citing it. Self-plagiarism, like mislead by reusing your own work without clarity, reusing your previous work or previous assignment or previous essay in another degree, submitting as maybe and submit it again. Source-based plagiarism, like using false, inaccurate, or non-existing citations. Like listing reference, you never read and don't use is very common, particularly with the AI. Sometimes also some people, students are using AI assisted plagiarism by submitting AI generated content as your own without disclosure and copying text directly from the AI. So these are the common, and there are very serious consequences related to plagiarism in your university. Maybe failing the course or disciplinary warning or suspensions. In medical research, nowadays we see many journals start to do retraction of published articles. Definitely, it may lead to damage your reputations and something ethical, and there is the legal consequence for that. How to avoid it? So you have to paraphrase properly. You have to cite idea and data. You have to go to quote exact phrase with the quotation mark. To keep reference notes while reading, and to use plagiarism checker before submitting. This is very important. And this example of correct citation in the blog. Let's have like a practical test during this presentation. So which is plagiarism? Test your knowledge. Is it paraphrase a sentence and cite it, copy an image without credit, paraphrasing without citation, writing your own word and citing? What do you think? It is copy an image without credit from the correct answer and paraphrasing without citation. Another one. A student copy 2 paragraphs from a published article and submit them in a report or in assignment without quotation mark or citation. Which type of plagiarism is? Is it paraphrasing plagiarism, direct plagiarism, self-plagiarism, or source-based plagiarism? What do you think? The correct answer is direct plagiarism. Other question. A student rewrites sentence from a research paper by changing a few words but keep the same structure and idea. Which type of plagiarism is? Mosaic, patchwork, plagiarism, paraphrasing plagiarism, source-based plagiarism, direct plagiarism. What do you think? It is mosaic plagiarism. Another one. Students who read a WHO article write it in their own words but not cite a WHO as a resource. This represents which type? Paraphrasing plagiarism or self-plagiarism or source-based plagiarism or no plagiarism? The answer, correct answer, is a paraphrasing plagiarism. Another example. Student use part of their previous assignment in a new essay without informing the instructor. Which type of plagiarism is? Is it paraphrasing, self-plagiarism, direct plagiarism, or source-based plagiarism? What do you think? It is self-plagiarism. Another example. A student cites 3 articles in the reference list but never actually read them. One doesn't even exist, maybe by AI or other source. Which type of plagiarism? Is it source-based plagiarism, or direct plagiarism, or paraphrasing plagiarism, or mosaic plagiarism? What do you think? It is a source-based plagiarism. Another test, self-assessment test. Example. Student copy text generated by ChatGPT or other AI tool into essay and submit it as their own work without mentioning or acknowledging the AI use. This example of what? Direct plagiarism, AI-assisted plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism, or paraphrasing plagiarism? I think this is a very, very, very easy question. Yeah, it's AI plagiarism. And this will lead us to the immediately how to use AI and how to report AI ethically in academic writing. So ethical use of AI in writing, we can use it like maybe for grammar, checking clarity, for brainstorming, outlining the topics, and maybe you can take notes or summarizing and help you to thinking. The unacceptable use is to submit a text from the AI as your own, or to use AI for data generation or content development or fabricate result, or to let the AI do paraphrasing for the or entire paper. This is not acceptable use of AI. So we discussed plagiarism in academic writing, and the other common problem by students in academic writing is using the abbreviation. Yeah, In general, we have to avoid using abbreviation in academic writing as possible. And avoid using abbreviation as possible. And if we want to use it, we have to spell it out. And we can use a well-known, recognized abbreviation, such as COVID-19. Now, everyone is known COVID-19. But very important, the first time an abbreviation appears in the text, write down the full term, followed by the abbreviation. So now we are coming to the end of the presentation. The common error in students writing the long and confusion sentence, overuse of the fillers, emotional and basic statement, missing some reference, and lack of the logical flow. So this is very important thing that we have to consider in academic writing for the student. The stepwise approach: before write, we have to brainstorm the idea, then draft, get the idea on paper, then review, get back from and feedback, then revise, rework, and then review. Then we move to polish, edit and check the writing, and finally publish, share the final product. Yeah, now this is the recap and reflection for this session. Academic writing is about clear and concise expression. It's about logic and ethical way of writing and thinking. It's very important to respect for the other work by citing and provide them with the by citing their previous work. And it is our personal accountability in academic writing. So we have to develop a medical student ethical writing mindset. And we mean by ethical writing mindset that thinking independently, without bias, cite accurately, writing honestly, respect other work, and finally, we have to use AI responsibly. Thank you so much for watching this series of videos, including the 8 videos. And I look forward to seeing you in the next 9 video, which will be about reflective learning in medical education. See you in this series and in the 9 video.